Hey guys, what's up? It's Condor here. I've been doing a lot of PvP lately just because I wanted to get a feel for it for myself, so I figured I'd make a video just on the structured PvP arenas as they state right now. This is specifically on team PvP, um, so that's where I'm going with this video. Anyways, first thing you'll notice about the one that I chose to use here is that I have two under levels on my team, 140, 149. So from the beginning of this match, we were absolutely doomed. There's no way, the way that it's structured right now, that 40s can compete with any level 50. Like they could face roll and still be a level 40. So that brings me to my first point that the matchmaking and team PvP is so messed up. Um, just to bring up some examples, like in this one, we have a 40 and a 49 on our team. They have all level 50s on their team. They can basically two-shot a level 40. If you watch their health, watch when the level 40 gets hit. They get hit right here. Um, they go down. I mean, I go down fast. I'm in full, right now I am in full illustrious leather with a Aurora cap on that gives me 5% movement speed and stealth or something like that. I can bring it up the next time I'm in there so you guys can see. So, I mean, I even go down fast, especially to dark runners who can CC you a little bit. It's hard enough for me to stay alive. If you watch throughout the video the level 40, it really takes two hits for the person to be just completely owned. So there shouldn't be a 40 and a 49 on the same team. It's just unfair for that team. So that's the first problem. The next one you're going to find is if it isn't during peak hours, a lot of times you'll get uneven teams. So you'll jump into a match and it'll say waiting for match, which is another problem. It takes up to 5 minutes, I believe it is, to match two people. Or the extra people, I shouldn't say two people, how many ever more people that you need. You'll be sitting there at 4 for 5 minutes, and then the match finally starts and you realize that you have 4, they have 5. Or you may realize that you have 4 and they have 2. Kind of depends on the match. It's hard to tell how many people are going to be on the other side. So that becomes an extreme problem. 4v5, any competent four-person team is going to just get destroyed by any competent 5-person team. It's just that easy. I mean, there's times that if you stayed next to your spawn and the people are stupid and they keep rushing your spawn, where you can get back in and get your health back up and stuff, then it's a possibility that you'd be able to live through something like that, but 90% chance you're not going anywhere. The next thing I want to bring up is the game itself in general is very gear dependent, but in here it's extremely gear dependent. With the fact that they can't be zerged down and they have no fear of being zerged down because there's only 5 people in the match anyways, a lot of times they'll bring in a pocket healer if they can at the same time. You queue up at the same time, there's no guarantee, but if you queue up at the same time, I've seen people get in round after round with each other, so it is possible, even though it's still a chance. But you'll come into a match, I know at least 3 or 4 people on my server that are in full unique and have Delphinod weapons to go with them. With that setup in the current state, 90% of people don't have that. Maybe higher, probably 98% of people don't have that. When they go into these matches, just them being in the match has won the game for you. It's almost impossible to lose after that. You'll look after a match, and the person with that type of gear will go 20-1, 20-0. It doesn't matter what the rest of the people do unless they die more than that 20 times. Which is really hard because of how much the other people are killing. So one person in a match in Supreme Gear can basically win the match for you. It's not really skill based. A lot of the game isn't in that circumstance anyways, because a lot of CCs and things like that. Given the class that I have one, shrug it off to get out of CCs, but even that you have to be really fast on a DR to be able to get out of their CC chain. So as far as gear dependency, it's really huge in this. So if you're not geared to the teeth, I wouldn't recommend it. If you're not in like full illustrious, at least I'm in illustrious arcane with a few pieces of heroic, and even mine. I mean, look at that death right there. I just don't stand a chance. The other people can't help, so that makes it worse in this match. But it's still really hard. The next thing is people, and you'll see us at the end of this match, we just stay in spawn. But people AFK, so you're down a person, people will leave. There's a lot of people on my server, at least, that if they come into a match, and since you can see everybody's armor buffs and what kind of tonics they're on and stuff like that, if they don't like what they see, they just log out. All it is like a 15 minutes you can't PvP, and they'd rather just not do it. So they notice that their team may be outmatched because they don't know what the other team is yet, and they'll just leave. So basically, once again, you've lost the match, which is really, really difficult considering that, I mean, this happens quite often. I would say that 50 to 60% of matches, people leave and you're outnumbered. Whether it's my side or the other side, people leave. You add to the top of that the low levels, the uneven teams with people having Delphinide weapons and full unique gear. I would say that somewhere in the neighborhood of 80 to 90% of matches are lopsided. So one team wins by at least 10 or more 90% of the time. And then the other 10%, you get really good matches that go down to the wire and people are really cautious about their deaths and things like that. They're actually trying to do what they can to win. And the other 90%, it's already predetermined before you get into the match who's going to win. So that takes a lot of the fun out of it. I do enjoy the 10% though a lot. So I guess the next thing that I would bring up is the fact that not all classes are even relevant when it comes to PvP, team PvP. In this match, I think we had like 3 Primevals, maybe a DR or something. I don't know. I don't even know if I checked when I was doing it. The best that I've seen so far is like 1 or 2 Dark Runners, 1 or 2 Primevals, a healer, and a tank that can just kind of stand there and CC everybody that kind of gets close. That, I mean, it is a very basic setup for a lot of things, but if you're not a cleric, hierophant, primeval, dark runner, I've seen some people get away with songcraft, sorcery mixes, which do a lot of DPS and shorten cooldown timers and things like that, so that's helpful for them. But basically those are the classes, 90% of the classes that you see. Mostly Dark Runners and Primevals because people like the DPS portion. Every so often you get lucky and you have a healer on your team. There are people that run classes that are mage-like, so whether that be Dagger Spell or something similar to that, people run that for the CC effects, but it is rare that you see them compared to other classes. Then, I mean, getting back to the point that I was making before, you have a lot of these guilds that this is what they do all day. They queue up together and they play together. So you'll run into a whole guild group, which just adds to the effect that honestly 90% of the matches are unevenly matched. You have no chance from the beginning of it. So you see what ends up happening in the match that I'm currently in right now. I wouldn't say that this is a rarity. This is EPK or whoever they are, just, you know, being douches. So they're sitting inside our spawn, just spawn camping. Typically, you're okay here. If you had all 50s, you'd be okay here because they wouldn't be able to kill you. I get caught sneaking out here. So then I think I try to run away, but I don't make it because I think every single one of them chases me, not 1 or 2. Oh no, 3 of them only chase me. So then when you respawn right in front of them. That's the only place that you can respawn. And because we were trying to be good and not everybody leave the match, they just kept killing us over and over again. So obviously, after I noticed that they were spawn camping as of right now, I'm not going to continue to give them free kills. And most of the other team, most of my team decided the same thing. We all sit here, they're sitting here making fun of us the whole time, saying that we should respawn so they can kill us, blah blah blah. But when it comes down to it, it's not really their fault. It's the fact that the game is so unevenly matched. I mean, I dealt most of them. I mean, I think I had 3 kills maybe in this, but some of them probably never died this entire match. They just sat here and did whatever. So it does take a lot of the fun out of the matches themselves. So I guess in closing, this is what I'll say about it. 10% of the matches are really fun, really enjoyable. I do enjoy when I get into a really good match. The honor is pretty decent out of it. Not that there's really anything I want besides the title itself that you get from it. But the honor's good. It's fun. I like small group fights. I like things that revolve around small group fights. I think they're more fun than the Zergy fighting stuff. But it's really sad in the state that it's currently in that only 10% of the matches are even remotely relevantly fun. And I take that on both sides. I don't find it fun when I win 40-10 either. I don't find it fun when you lose 40-10. It isn't something about being the fact that I don't like losing or I don't like, or that I like winning all the time or whatever. That's great, but winning can get old too. If you're winning 40-10 every match all the time, sooner or later it's just boring. You're not using any skill. You're just outgeared, outmanned another team. And usually if you can go into that first headway and you go 5-0, someone will quit the other team, almost guaranteed every time. So I think for myself, this will be the end of what I do for this, besides to make the class videos for you guys and kind of show you where they're able to be used or what they're used for best. But I won't be participating in them much myself anymore. I'd rather go ganking or out in the real world. I shouldn't say real world, into the game world here and see what fun I can have. So if you guys have any questions, anything to add that you've noticed, let me know. Otherwise, that's all I have for you today. Later, guys.